The answer is no. Just because we as Americans have freedom of speech, that does not mean we get to say whatever we want, whenever we want. I know that we've seen a lot of protesting on the news, so I thought I'd try to break down the freedom of speech a little bit to make it more understandable in how you analyze it. So first thing you need to know is not all speech is protected. Everything we say is not protected by the First Amendment freedom of speech. The government has listed out few exceptions through some case law where it's just never okay to do. And perfect example would be the video I did yesterday on terroristic threats. You can't threaten to kill someone, make them fear for their lives, and then try to hide behind freedom of speech. Another example would be like perjury. Even though testimony is speech, if you are under oath and you lie, that is a violation of the law, and you cannot hide behind freedom of speech to defend yourself. There's a few other examples. One more that might be good would be in a civil arena. You can't slander, libel, defame somebody, and then expect to be able to hide behind freedom of speech. So there's a few more examples, but that's just kind of gives you a general idea of the fact that some kinds of speech are just not protected at all by the First Amendment. The other thing you need to look at, and this comes into play with some of the protests that we've seen on the news lately, is the government is allowed to put what we call reasonable time, place, and manner restrictions in. And what that means is, hey, look, we know what you're saying is protected speech, but we're going to put some guardrails or some controls on that because we have to balance your right to give your speech with important government needs like public safety. And that's perfect examples are like not impeding traffic or blocking a public entrance. So that's why you see governments do things like have certain permitting procedures for protesting. But you're going to see a lot of push-pull between people that say, hey, the government is trampling on my rights to express myself, and the government saying, look, we have to balance that with public safety. And so you see a lot of lawsuits. There's tons of case law out there, different examples of how time, place, and manner restrictions have run up against people's freedom of speech. And one of the things that the courts are going to look at when you see that push-pull is whether the government's restrictions are content neutral. So that means, are the restrictions based on somebody's point of view? Because that would be a big no-no. Are they picking on people because of, for example, their political views or their religious views? The courts are going to come down pretty hard on the government if that's the case. And the other thing that they're going to look at, there's a few more, but one other important thing is, are they narrowly tailored? Meaning, did the government go overboard in trying to protect public safety, or did they do just enough to affect that good balance between the government's need for public safety and people's rights to express themselves? So in the next video, I'm going to talk about what does speech even mean, because it's more than just words.